So right now, as I film on a Sunday night, technology stocks are down and people are really worried that this is the beginning of the end. The market crash that everyone has promised would happen over the past 2 to 3 years. As you can see, Micron is not doing well. Even Nvidia is down by nearly 2% over the past month when we are seeing one of the biggest bull runs in history. In fact, it is pretty much all of big tech that is down currently, and if you know anything about the markets or the S&P 500, people have been saying for years now that the top few companies, the AI related companies, are the only reason as to why the markets are up overall. A lot of people have called this the AI bubble, comparing it with the dot-com bubble. And right now could be a very difficult time to start investing because you're not sure whether or not the markets are going to go up or down. Now, I started investing after I really understood the one really simple principle of investing, and that is that if you want to invest, do it for the long term, because overall, no matter what happens over the short term, the stocks do tend to go up. So in this video, I'm going to be revisiting that principle and also giving my opinion as to whether or not right now is a bad time to start investing. As always, I'm using the Trading 212 app to demonstrate this, and if you would like to get started with investing on Trading 212 and receive a free fractional share worth up to £100, then all you have to do is to follow the link in the description box down below or scan this QR code appearing on the screen right now. Alternatively, if you've already signed up to Trading 212 over the past 10 days but haven't got your free fractional share, then all you have to do is to press the 3 horizontal line menu over here. Then scroll all the way down until you see the section use promo code. And in this section, just enter the code JUBAIR and you should receive a free fractional share. Now, whichever way you look at it, there are always going to be arguments as to for and against why you should do anything, especially with investing. And obviously, when you're investing, your capital is at risk. The value of your portfolio could definitely go down as well as up. And it is especially important that you understand what you are getting into before you start investing. At the end of the day, you have to convince yourself as to what you are going to do and what you're going to proceed with. Now, the argument that we are at the top of the AI bubble and things are just beginning to pop is a compelling one because it feeds into our emotions. I could sit here and say that I believe the AI bubble is going to pop, but it's not going to change the fundamentals. Nothing is going to change just because I've said it or just because I buy or sell something. So this argument that starting investing now is a bad idea is predicated on the fear that things are going to get worse. Later on in the video, we will go through how things have fared in the past, and obviously past performance does not indicate what we're going to get in the future, and that is the scariest thing about investing, because eventually everything goes to zero, but obviously no one is expecting that anytime soon. Now, if you start investing now and the companies drop down more, the indices like the S&P 500 drop down more, then obviously your portfolio is going to go down. It's going to feel really bad buying right at the supposed top. But I mean, take Micron for example. Back in February 2026, everyone still thought that the AI bubble was going to pop, and if you had stopped investing or you told yourself, no, I'm not going to invest, then look at the difference that would have made to your life, because Micron was valued at $428. Even with today's decline, it is worth about more than double that. So each time the market looks like it is at the top, it is almost impossible to know for sure. And remember, if history has showed us anything, the stock market makes a terrific amount of tops every bull run. Now, you might be confused as to why I am showing you Micron when talking about the market in general, but of course we can just look at the S&P 500 and see how many times people thought that we were at the top, only to see that they were right for a while, and then things changed and new tops were made very frequently in short succession after that. And obviously we know how the story goes with the S&P 500 over the past couple of years. It has performed so well that if you were a stock picker getting this amount before the bull run, you would have been classed as a top performer, with individual stocks not buying a whole index. So if the argument for not beginning investing now is so compelling, how about the argument that the best time to start investing was actually yesterday? Now, remember back in the beginning when I said the thing that got me into investing was looking at the history of the S&P 500 and realizing that no matter what happened across the world, the S&P 500 kept ticking because companies persevered. The S&P 500 is not just stock picking. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm just picking the S&P 500, well, the market overall really is just the S&P 500 because that is the benchmark to where other indices and other investors and large companies compare their investments to. So when people are referring to the stock market, sometimes they just mean the S&P 500. Now, obviously, you can invest into an all world, but even with an all world, you're probably at least 60% exposed to the S&P 500. So the way the graph goes up and down is going to be very similar to the S&P 500 anyway. So as I film right now, the S&P 500 was down by 2.6% on the last day, so the Friday of the closing. You guys will know how the markets are because I'm going to post this on the Monday. But these investing apps don't do a great job in showing the overall history because if you go back to the past 5 years, yes, the S&P 500 has been doing great. In fact, it's up by over 70%. Now, over those 5 years, you could have said that the S&P 500 was going to crash until the cows came home, but you would have been wrong every single time. Now, if we look at just the past 30 years, you can do this on Google Finance yourself. You can see that the S&P 500 has had an incredible run since the great financial crisis of 2009. However, between November 1996 and February 2009, if you had made a lump sum investment from then to the end, your investments would have actually gone down. Even accounting for the dividends you may have received, you would have just lost to inflation. So the argument that the S&P 500 always recovers has technically been true, but what are those time horizons? If you were a 19-year-old investor now, seeing the 100% gains that you might have got on individual stocks, and becoming used to that, would you actually be holding for 10 years plus if the S&P 500 had a long lost decade? I just highly doubt that. And that is why the argument to whether or not it is the right time to start investing now or is determined by your willingness to change your behavior if the market changes its behavior. I've always said that if you want to be a long-term investor, there are only two things that you can actually control. The most important is how long you invest. The longer you invest, the higher you are giving yourself the chance of actually gaining long-term wealth, because if you look at the history of the S&P 500, of major indices around the world, they trend up, but over large periods of time. We're talking about a minimum of a decade, so that's 10 years. If you are not willing to invest for at least 10 years, sometimes even more because you might need it, then the chances that you are going to recover from a stock market crash drastically reduces. Now, if you need that cash over the short term, then it is highly recommended that you do not invest because there's always a chance that a stock market crash could happen. And if you have been investing over the past 5 years, you haven't really seen the sort of crashes that other investors have seen, before the 2000s. Now, the other thing that you can control as an investor is how often and consistent you are with your deposits, because if you had invested on the 22nd of November 1996 with a lump sum and then stopped, you would be down, including with your dividends and inflation. However, if you had been consistent and buying when it's up and it's down, the chances are that your portfolio would probably have beaten inflation. So make sure to check out some of my other videos and I'll see you in the next video.